Good day, YouTube. Just before I go on with this video about spiritual house cleaning, I wanted to share with you something really interesting that happened yesterday evening. The video that follows, though, will be something that I had recorded earlier in the month. But yesterday, as I was messing around with my tarot cards, and this is the Ancient Italian Tarot, I bought it near Samhain 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. And ever since, I have had extremely profound readings with it. So I was just sort of shuffling it mindlessly last night. And as I did so, I asked the cards very directly, how many past lives have I lived? And the answer I got was extremely shocking, because I kept shuffling the cards and drawing first the Seven of Cups, followed by the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Wands, and as if my card was telling me to pay attention to the seven, stupid, the Chariot, which, as you can see, is also the seven of the major arcana. Of course, followed again by the Seven of Coins. Now, I ask you, what would be the odds of that happening by pure chance or coincidence alone? It seems to be an extremely direct answer that I have probably lived 7 lifetimes before now. And I really have to take issue with those that claim to have lived dozens upon dozens of lifetimes or scores of lifetimes, because you have to remember that time in the other world flows differently than it does here. Moreover, you could, just be hanging out, on the other side, while time here just moves on. I mean, 7 lifetimes could easily be a few hundred years, if not a few thousand years here on Earth. So I'm really not that surprised by the answer itself. The weird thing was, when I asked that question, that is the immediate number that popped in my head just before I drew that card. So my intuition was really guiding me in the right place, I believe. Unfortunately, there's a bit of bad news now as well. It has just come to my attention right immediately before I recorded this, that Wiccan elder Raymond Buckland has passed away, and God, it just breaks my heart. He was such a genuine person. It was about the craft to him. He was so endearing and always open to having a conversation about the craft or its history with just about anybody, even me. He had wonderful conversations with me a few years ago. So he was just a delightful individual, and the craft will be wanting without him. So I really hate to end this on a downer, but without further ado, my video on spiritual house cleaning. I hope you like it, and if you know of Raymond Buckland, if you respect his work, today would be a good time to light a candle for him. I know I will be. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention that this Saturday is September 30th, which is National Ghost Hunting Day. So for those of you that can take part, I hope you have a lot of fun. I really wish that that I could take part. I would love to take another trip to the Villisca Axe Murder House, where I happened to catch some orbs. I really should have taken some video there, but I didn't. You know, I'm really kicking myself for that now. But yeah, the Saturday before October is considered National Ghost Hunting Day as sort of a kickoff festival to the Halloween season. I will post a link below in the show notes, and I hope you guys look it up and have a blast. Okay, hey guys. So let me see if I can get this straight. I think I do, and I'm a little fright, but that is because I am spiritually cleaning my bedroom today. And that's what I wanted this episode to be about, a simple spiritual cleaning. Of course, later on, after I do the whole spiritual cleaning bit, I am going to give you a tour of my witchy space, my bedroom, because there have been some substantial changes and I am exhausted from it all. It has been about 2 weeks at least to try and get this room in order. But I digress. What I am doing now is I am preparing my new altar. If you have seen other images of my bedroom, you will recognize this table as being my former bedside table. I have since, here we go. I have since removed my my lamp and my stereo because I no longer use them. I no longer use my stereo anyway. It was basically just sitting around collecting dust. So I am repurposing it, and before I erect my altar here, I am spiritually cleaning it. But the first step in spiritually cleaning something, in my opinion, is if it's dusty and grimy, get that dust and grime off first. You know, just go over it with a paper towel, a wet rag. Just remove that dust. Then you may spiritually cleanse it, because you don't want all that grime, all that dirt, all those what are they called? All those dust bunnies floating around in your solution. But what I have done is I have simply, that is one of my mini cauldrons, and I'm sorry, there's like literally 2 feet of space here between my bed and my new altar. But what I have here is warm soapy water that I have added a few dashes of Florida water into. That is all it is. Just hot soapy water and Florida water in one of my earthenware cauldrons, one of my prized possessions, which a lot of my witch friends are really jealous of that find. I bought it at a flea market several years ago in Pella, Iowa. So okay, so really all I do is you know, I just stuck a, whoop, I'm really sorry about that shot. I'm still getting used to holding this camera. But really, all you do is you just soak a clean rag in your solution, and you simply, you know, just wipe it back and forth. You may intone any personal verse you like while you're doing it. I usually use a very freeform verse, something along the lines of, I cleanse and consecrate thee to be a source of power, a spiritual doorway. Let's see, what else did I say? A heart of power for my spells and enchantments as I serve the goddess, the Morrighan, that it may be a sacred space unto her. Wherefore do I cleanse and consecrate thee? So mote it be. I'll type that up and put it in the show notes if anyone is interested in using that verse. You know, it's just something I cobbled together years ago for my Book of Shadows, or my Grimoire, And really, that's all to it. Although while you're doing it, I also recommend cleansing your windows as well as your door, to really create sort of a space in which positive and negative energies and forces. Whoop, here we go. Here I am. Okay, in which positive and negative energies and forces cannot bombard your personal sanctum. Something else I recommend cleansing and consecrating is a mirror facing the doorway. And I have done that. It's over there. My mirror has been charged to deflect any negative energies and vibrations back out the room. And of course I've also done the windows, I've done my doorway, and really that is all there is to it, my brothers and sisters. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I wish you well, and until I see you again, keep calm and witch on. Oh, but before I concluded this video on spiritual house cleansing, I forgot to mention one thing. If you have furniture or a bed that needs to be spiritually cleansed, you know, things you can't launder, because if you can launder something, just, you know, add a splash of Florida water to the laundry, and there you go. But if it's something large like a bed or a piece of furniture, all you have to do is fill up a little squirt bottle like this with some hot soapy water, a splash of Florida water, and you just spritz the surface of whatever it is you're cleansing. As you say a chant along the lines of something like, oh, I neutralize all positive and negative energies and vibrations within thee that may come through harm. Something along those lines. And then you just dress the bed again with your sheets, and have at it. Have a good night's sleep. Oh, and I apologize for the poor quality in video. Suddenly, I returned the camera that I've been using back to its former owner. So hopefully this year I will be able to upgrade to a DSLR camera. It depends on whether or not the local pawn shops will have anything that I would want to use. Typically in pawn shops, you hope to get a good deal, but more often than not, they, especially with electronics, they tend to price them very near to what the retail price is, which sucks. But I will definitely have a look and see what is available, because I cannot afford retail these days. As always, and I really hope this isn't boring you, but I wouldn't support this book if I didn't wholeheartedly believe in it. So if you go out and about, if you're looking for a new fabulous book on herbal magic,